healthier, better.
I haven't seen you in forever.
Too long.
Too long. So today we're going to go over a couple of things. I just want to go over how you train your clients, mindsets when it comes to running and stuff like that. One of the things I really appreciate about you is that you teach proper lifestyle balance. And I really want to dive into that because I feel like a lot of people, when they get into working out, they really feel like it has to be this, and that. And that's definitely not the way it goes. I think you know that. Yeah. I mean, I know you enjoy your cocktails. I know I enjoy my cocktails, which is hence why we have this, Jen. So the premise behind each podcast that we're going to do is whatever the guest's favorite alcohol is, we're going to bring it in.
Full disclosure.
She chose Empress 1908. Now, legitly, I had to Google this because I had no idea what this was. Yeah. I'm a little bit of a newbie when it comes to gin. The only gin I've tried is Aviation. Have you tried that one?
That one I haven't tried.
It's like Ryan. I feel so basic, but I'm like, it's Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, now you're basic.
A little bit.
That's right. Yeah.
So how'd you come across this gin?
Honestly, I was at a bar in Toronto, Bar Poet, and they had a cocktail with Empress Gin. So here we are.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's pour ourselves a little bit. Let's get a little ice in it. How much ice do you like in it?
I'm not picky. Maybe 3 cubes.
3. These cubes are pretty big though.
I'm teasing you.
I'm not picky. Just 3. Here.
That's good. Perfect.
How's the drive here?
Oh my God, I live like 2 minutes away from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I still go to that Rooster Cafe, eh?
Hey, I love it.
Shout out to Rooster Cafe.
Shout out to Roost. Here we go.
Okay, let's pour a little of this here.
Perfect.
How much do you
I'm being spoiled.
Okay, say what?
That's good.
That's good? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do the same as you.
I mean, when it comes to drinks, is there portion control? I guess so.
Portion control is like, we're okay. All right. Hey.
Perfect.
Tell me when. Blue?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Purple blue.
Purple blue. I didn't even know this.
That's probably the hype behind it.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe a little extra because I like it. Right. So, I've known you for 6 years, 7 years?
Around there, yeah.
Around there.
Wow. That's been a while.
But I haven't seen you since the lockdown.
Yes.
Very first lockdown.
Right.
So how's things been?
Honestly, I think...
Oh, sorry. Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to 2021.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Nice and strong.
That's pretty... Yeah. All right.
Dive.
So how's things been?
Honestly, every day's been different. Like, I feel like you probably experienced the whole transition of the year and so forth. But overall, like, it's been a crazy year through fitness, through health, even just moving. We had moved.
I know you were selling a whole bunch of stuff. I kind of wanted to buy your furniture. You had a really nice dresser and couches.
Oh man.
I wish I had a house at that time, but
it's insane. Yeah. Going from a house to a townhouse is a huge jump. Like you realize how much crap you have.
Yeah, you'll get.
You have to move it. Yeah, it's insane.
That's all right.
Yeah, so I took a huge dive on like just reducing all the extra crap I had, and it honestly felt really good. It's like a cleanse, and you kind of take care of what you need. So so that's one thing. And then even with training and stuff, just going onto like virtual platform, that was a huge shift.
So how do you feel about that? I personally hate it. I hate it. I know it was like a necessary evil at that time, but I am like a true believer that like the beauty about like our profession is that we're very like, I have to pay attention to you and your cues.
Right.
And like, you can do that as much as possible on Zoom, but when it's like here and like 7 boxes, you're like, oh, Carrie, get a little bit there. Henry, do this, right?
Make sure to tuck your chin.
Yeah, like, oh, it's worse.
Yeah, no, I think the beauty of virtual was just the challenge of being creative and keeping people accountable. For me, it was like a huge shift from virtual to in-person. In-person, I think, is just my personal like favorite approach, of course, because queuing and so forth. But with virtual, my priority was just to keep people accountable and keep people moving. Yeah. So when that's the intention, it becomes a little bit easier. But I know in the initial, I was a little bit frustrated because you almost want it to be the same. But so I decided that changing kind of that goal or that end goal for me was just a little bit. It helped a lot.
It's crazy too because it was literally something that every single trainer had to figure out at once.
Yeah.
How to do. So we're like kind of in it together.
Which webcam to buy.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know Zoom was a thing until people were like, oh, just reach me on Zoom. I'm like, what is Zoom?
What about Skype? You had to know Skype.
Of course I knew Skype, but I didn't use that either.
Yeah, no.
But how good did it feel when you went back to like in-person training?
It felt...
Did it feel a little weird though?
It was. It was actually a little bit of a weird transition because you have to be a little bit more conscious of how comfortable people are coming in and, everyone has a different stance. But it was really, really nice. Even just, I found like everybody was a lot more grateful, appreciative. Everybody loved being in each other's like circle and just being more of a social support. So that was beautiful. Yeah, it's really nice. I think, I hate to say like I think COVID was a beautiful thing to happen because I don't think I've ever seen people care about their health until now, which is sad that it took literally a pandemic to do that. Right. But I don't think I don't know about you, but I think I was probably the busiest this year. Wow. Because people were just like so scared. Yeah. Right. So scared. Because one of the biggest things about this whole thing was, the healthier you are, the better you deal with this on average. Right. Right. So everybody's like, well, I don't want to be in that kind of scale. So did you find that when you were training your clients or when you had new clients? I didn't find it was so much about fear. I found it was more about like finally attending to those like nagging injuries or things that they never attended to. So I found a lot of new people actually kick-started at the gym, beginners or whatever level they were at. I found people were way more receptive. Because I think, having that extra time to really kind of see what your lifestyle consists of and maybe even compare or maybe, not having that gym or that accessibility made people want it more. You want what you can't have kind of thing. Always, yeah, I think that was a driving force. I know a lot of people came to us for injuries, low back pain, neck stiffness, stuff like that, right? Because people were even more sedentary than they already were with desk jobs and just being at home more, working from home. So it was actually, in the initial, it was kind of like sad to see because I found like a lot of people came in with like, a lot of aches and pains, things that they could no longer do for the last, 6 months, 8 months, year, right? Yeah. So it was nice to see them kind of take that action step towards something that would help them in the long run, right? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So when it comes to training, do you find that you teach these people with rehab, like that? Because you rehab a lot of people, right? Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's what nature called for me. It's just like kind of flowing it's being pushed my way, yeah. So what's the biggest thing that you have to teach them when you start rehabbing them? So let's say somebody stereotypically tore the ACL. Okay. So what are you going to do with them? What's the first session? Well, I would say any injury at all, like in general, I feel like a lot of people just don't have awareness on what they're doing every day. So it's kind of like I find people go into, let's say, the gym or physiotherapy and kind of hope that one-stop shop is going to fix it all. But we account for 1 hour of the 24 that everybody has. Yeah, that's a very good point. So I feel like the biggest piece of anything is one, taking accountability and just saying like, okay, well, I move 24 hours in the day. Be your own detective. Like what's triggering it or what may have triggered, let's say your ACL injury. Yeah. So I would say that's number one. Yeah. Yeah. Taking ownership, accountability. I mean, I can't even count on two hands about low back pain, posture, kyphosis. You're making me kind of like, I know. I kind of adjusted my spine as I'm like, bad posture, Yeah. But yeah, that was a big one. Yeah, I could see that. Where do you train out of now? Right now, I'm in a studio in Richmond Hill called Rise Training Club. Shout out to Rise Training Club. Shout out to Rise. Here you go. And how long have you been there for? Just over a year. Just over a year. You like it? Just over a year. Love it. Yeah. 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 It looks like a sweet spot. It is. It looks very clean, very like smooth, how everything is going. Yeah. It's basically just how I describe it. It's the bridge between private training and large scale training. So I know last we spoke, which is like 6 years back, that was kind of my ideal. We talked more, like we talked in between that, but we haven't seen each other. Right. Yes. But my initial goal is kind of bridging that gap. And I think Rise does an immaculate job at, still attending to people's one-on-one needs while, motivating people in a group setting.
How long is he? Is it a co-owned? Is it a guy? Is it a girl?
It's Andy. No, it's just a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. How long has he had it before?
He's going on 2 years in February.
Oh wow! So he opened that up like
I know
in like not the best time.
Shout out to Andy.
Yeah, shout out to Andy.
Damn.
That's all right. That's all right.
Drink to that.
Yeah. Actually, shout out to Andy. So also I want the viewers to kind of know a little bit about your backstory. So did you go to school? Or did you take a lot of certificates? How did you kind of get into this field?
Well, first by my own practice.
Yeah.
So definitely just when I was younger, just a lot of sports and so forth. And I just wanted to be better. So I started engaging more like activity outside of that and like beyond soccer practices I ran and so forth. And I just saw how much I could improve by just putting a little bit more effort into something. And that kind of transgressed into me signing up to the community center and then and so forth. That was the initial, like when I was young, but then furthermore, like in high school, I started taking like, anatomy, you take exercise science, and then my brain was like loving it. So I took kinesiology. So I got a degree in kinesiology and then I got a diploma in health and fitness promotion. So it's kind of like a duo. And then I just continued learning. Like I've taken a few courses with Exercise Therapy Association. And I just, I'm fascinated by the human body, just how to improve, how to optimize your lifestyle and how to just feel better.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that we kind of connected on the beginning when we met is because I'm very much, I mean, you've known me for a while. I'm very much about like, what's the next thing I can learn?
Right.
And I think you're the exact same. It's like, okay, I learned this. Okay.
Awesome.
What's the next thing? Right. So it's kind of nice.
It has its perks. Yes.
It has its perks. So out of all the years of been training, what's something that you've learned that you kind of change your mindset on?
Well, I think sustainability.
Yeah.
I think, in the beginning, I remember like being super strict about what I was eating, what I was putting into my mouth. And of course, that's a huge factor. But I realize now, years down the road, that there is that middle ground. It doesn't have to be extreme. So I've experimented on both extremes and it's crazy like being able to find that middle ground. It's just so much more, one, sustainable and two, fulfilling. Like you can be happy and still attain your goals.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Not too many people think that.
You know what? It's unreal because I feel like when I meet people for the first time, they're like, "Oh, you're a personal trainer, you're a personal health coach."
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like confession. They're like, "Oh my god, like I had chocolate the other day." I'm like, "Okay,
awesome,
awesome." They're like, "Oh my god, I love pizza." I'm like, "Me too," And it's just like when people see, like, I'm a huge foodie. Like,
me too.
I love food in general, and people they're like, "How do you eat that and you work out?" It's like, well, you don't see the veggies that I eat. I just show the delicious. Like I love broccoli.
Okay.
I eat broccoli for days, right? But I'd rather, I don't know, post about a delicious pizza.
Right.
Or Taco Tuesday.
It's just more appealing.
Exactly.
Like who wants to see a head of broccoli?
Exactly. So what, exactly. So what is, take me through like a training regimen that you've done that you incorporate more nutrition in. So like, I know, for example, like you did a lot of running last summer.
Oh, goodness.
Like a
yes.
lot. Like I remember every time you posted something on Instagram, I checked my time and I was like,
there was a couple
and
times
I felt
you
so
commented.
good. Yeah, I felt so good. I'm like, yo, I killed that 5K. And I look at you, you're like, oh my God, not my best run. I was like, yo, this girl did better than me. So tell me your secrets.
My secrets.
So when you were running a whole bunch last summer,
yeah,
what was your nutrition like?
Well, definitely a lot more carbohydrates.
Yeah.
For sure. I incorporated in simple, like another whole meal, just based on, depending on the distances you're running. Like I was training up to a half marathon, just for fun. Like, and so that was a huge shift, like energetically, that requires a lot, like it's a high demand on the body for sure. So in simple, like I would say I added a whole extra meal, but 100%, like whatever you ate the night before would show in your run.
100, I know.
So it's a good driving tool because there's no way you're going to eat crap before you're planning on running a half marathon or a 10K or whatever it is. But the funny thing is, like through running is I always say to people that like running for me throughout COVID at first, it just was something that I knew everyone had access to. So I made a running group out of it. And anyone who was interested that I was in contact with, we created a group out of it. And I wanted to use it as like a driving force for people to stay active. Whether you're beginner, intermediate, advanced, didn't matter. And that was a really cool experience for me, just to be able to connect people who had like never met in person and just challenge each other to that. So we did I did a couple of like foam rolling sessions, or I sent videos and kind of like supplementary work for people to do because, it's a big jump. It's a big jump.
It is. So Monday to Sunday, what was your running routine like?
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm laughing because I had a running buddy. His name's Rob. And I think I remember
you posting about him. He like killed it every time,
absolutely.
Right?
Like he is an endurance beast. But we just did it for fun, to be honest, Norman. In the beginning, like it was just for fun. So we ran twice a week and there was like those 2 station days. But it became one of those things where I'm like, I'm really enjoying this. Like the mind ease, the mental clarity that came from running, that was my driving force. It wasn't necessarily like performance or saying that I did a half marathon. It was more so because of like the opportunity to be in nature and how much like presence it requires and clarity. Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Like whenever I do a 2-a-day, my second is always running.
Yeah.
Because to me, this is going to be a little bit of an asshole statement. But
oh, no.
To me,
I drink?
Drink to my asshole statement. But to me, running is more meditation than anything.
It is.
You know what I mean? And to me, it's like if I'm really, really mad or sad, I can't go in the gym.
Okay.
I can't. Like to me, because when I work out, it's like I joke around that people don't understand. And I think you understand too. Like the only time I'm alone is in the car.
Yeah.
In the shower.
Right.
In the washroom.
Yeah.
And while I'm working out. Right. And so when, bad things happen to trainers too. Like, I think people don't understand. It's like we have to bring that motivation to them and we have to bring that positivity to them. And even though it's a blessing, it can be a little taxing sometimes because we have our own stuff going along. Right.
Right.
So when like shit really hits a fan and I need to work out, it's like a rush of like all these things I need to figure out and I don't know how to handle it, which sounds a little immature, but like in the sense of like I can't focus on the movements and what I got to do.
Yes.
So when I run, it's very therapeutic. I just go.
Yeah.
And I don't even care about speed, distance. I just go. Right. And no matter how upset or sad I am, when I come back, it's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But the second thing, I don't. Do you run with music?
I do.
I have to run with music.
But sometimes, like, I hit a wall where I'm like, okay, no music. Like,
really?
Yeah, just depends.
Kudos to you, because I can't do that. One time, my fiance and I had a race. Who can do the most kilometers in a month?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
who won?
Doesn't matter.
We know the answer to this one.
Doesn't matter. But anyway, what happened was I went for, I'm like, today, you know the kind of person I am. It's like, one day I'll just go like 20K.
Right.
I'll just say, fuck it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because why not?
Because why not? And I have like the grit to do it.
Yeah.
So I've never once ran without music.
Okay.
So I started running the first 5K, my beats die.
Oh no.
And I was like, and I was ready so far away. And you know, when you have that internal conversation, it's like, what do I do?
Yeah. Do I stop?
Do I stop?
Do I turn?
And I was like, no, I can't stop. If anything, like this is a sign that like I do some mental training.
Yeah.
So I ran the full 20K. I think it was 25K I ran. No music after that. Wow. And it was the worst.
Yeah.
The worst. But I was so mentally sound after that.
Yeah.
Because everything that I've been thinking about, like I had to deal with it.
Had to face, yeah.
Had to deal with it. And I came back and I was like,
wow. Yeah.
I was like, I'm kind of an animal. Kind of a savage. And then I'm like, maybe next time I'll run with no music, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Well, I always say running. Yeah. I think running is mentality training too. There's definitely
100%.
Something to be said about like the hurdle. And I'm not talking 5K. I'm not saying you have to do 10K, but there's something to be said about long distance training, like steady state training. And just like overcoming like those mental burdens, because you'll hit them. Like
always.
Once you hit 10K or whatever it is, there's going to be those time points where you're going to want to stop, or your mind might be a bit clouded, and there might be something just someone or something driving you forward. And I think that's the beauty of running, is like just having those thoughts almost like come forward, but also still like overcoming and deciding to continue.
I totally agree. I think the two things that have taught me the most about being present is martial arts and running.
Oh, wow.
Because if I'm not present, I get hit.
Right.
Nobody likes to get hit. So
No.
I'm forced to be present, even though like I got things going on in my life. And running, if I don't be present, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Of
for those two things, I'm forced to just go. Right. And I appreciate that. And I enjoy that. So I want to ask you, what's the longest you've ran? So what's the longest you've ran
Okay.
and not stopped?
Okay.
So I can compare it to my
half
run.
marathon, 21.2. Dang.
And two, what's your best 5K time?
Ooh.
You know what's
I'm going to
crazy?
have to take out my run.
One time you post it and I screenshot it so
Oh,
I can
God.
use it as motivation. I was like, yo, I got to beat this time.
I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. I know it was like I maintained like sub 5, so below 5 per kilometer.
I've only got, I think my
it was like 450 or
best
something.
5K was like, I don't know what happened that day, but I think it was like, my best 5K was like in 21 minutes. Or
Really
like
solid.
That.
Yeah, it's
never
about
happen
there.
again.
No.
Never happen again.
The funniest thing about PRs is that you usually hit them when you least expect it. So it's like the run you never wanted
Put that
to do.
on a t-shirt. I love that. Let's sell that.
Yeah,
Cheers
sure.
to that.
Cheers to that.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, so that was the longest, but long distance is my favorite. Like, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's something, like I said, to say about like long distance running.
Yeah.
Something to be said.
To be said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to start, if somebody who occasionally runs, let's say 2K, 3K, every 3 days, 2 days, maybe it's my mom.
Yeah.
If she wanted to train for a half marathon, what would you suggest?
Well, I definitely would get an assessment first.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely go and make sure you have like the unilateral strength, you have the stability to run, because it is like really demanding on the body for sure. But
stride is important.
Stride is important. I know.
Realize that.
Yeah. But I do appreciate anyone who's still just moving their body and trying to move their body. But I would like graduate from like a walk run to like steady running and then taking it from there.
Mm-hmm.
The walk run is like, I saw the most improvement with a lot of people in our running chat with the walk running method. Yeah. Do you use,
so I use the Cadence app. Have you ever used that before?
No, I haven't.
Have you heard of it?
No.
So it's a beep that plays while you're running.
Oh.
And you're supposed to you can increase the speed. So each beep is where you would run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, that's
and you
so
match
cool.
it. And every week you increase the cadence to increase your speed.
Okay, cool. I love that. That's actually really nice.
I've tried. Well, sometimes it's like when you hear it, you're like, well, I'm not a horse.
You go crazy. Yeah.
But I did try it for a solid like 2 weeks, and I found that it helped a lot because
with pacing.
With pacing, exactly.
Cool.
So I was curious if you used any cadence apps at all.
I only use Map My Run, and everyone wanted me to graduate to Strava, and I tried.
People asked me to. What did you not like about Strava?
I don't know. You know, you just get used to something. Like maybe that's like.
I tried Map My Run for like I think 2 months.
Yeah.
And then it just stopped recording my runs, which was kind of a piss off.
Yeah, of course.
And then I tried the Under Armour one.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's the one I used. Yeah.
I haven't used Strava. So Strava? It's called Strava?
It's Strava. Yeah. A lot of athletes are on there. So it's more of a competition thing. But I tried not to always record my runs and be so focused on numbers. Sometimes I just tried to focus on just moving my mind and body. That was it.
I do that for recovery days.
Yeah.
It's just I'm going to run to here to there.
Okay.
It's one of those for me.
Yeah.
So.
Fair.
Yeah. It's not that bad. So when you were running that much, what was your weight training routine like?
Lots of unilateral work for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing full body at the time, but it changed quite a bit because I had a whole year of just straight running. So I went from like 2 days a week of running and maybe like 3 strength training, but like different intensities, like low intensity, moderate, high intensity, because you would be gassed. Mm-hmm. Like my training, the way I trained before, the bodybuilder style just wouldn't have worked for running.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of bodybuilding.
Yeah, no.
I feel like every person kind of dives into it for a little bit to see.
Get a taste of it. Why not?
Yeah, and you're like, I'd rather move like my body
more functional.
More functional.
Yeah.
You know, like I obviously like occasionally like I'll hit some biceps and triceps, but you know, I think a lot of people don't realize. Like, if you look at like people who do the rings, in Olympic, their biceps are huge. But you realize their biceps are huge is because they do so much pulling work. Right. And so I realized the more I do pulling movements, my biceps get like engaged just as much
without isolation.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know. I get a little bored.
Yes.
Of a little, you know. This,
yeah, of course.
And this. Of course. I guess when you're younger, there's a time and a place for it, especially if you're a male.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, I don't know about that.
There's an ongoing joke at my gym that, like, I work with, like, a bunch of guys, and they
Are like, you the only girl there?
I am.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the only female trainer. And it's really funny. They're like, you'll always find Monica single leg RDLing.
And are you?
So, yeah. Like,
you're like, hell yeah.
Especially during running, like my running season and when I was running quite frequently, they're like, this girl's always doing single leg RDLs. Like, what the hell? And it's so funny. I'm like, you guys make jokes around me, but none of you could do a single leg RDL.
Really?
So no, they could. They we just mess around. Yeah.
That's fair.
Conventional. They're conventional.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So what kind of training regimen are you on right now?
Right now, I am fully focused on rehab. So I injured, you know about my injury. Yeah.
So explain to the people what happened.
God.
What happened?
Well, it wasn't like your typical I fell and I like tore 3 ligaments.
I have fallen. Please somebody help me.
Please someone help me. It's swollen. Yeah, it was unfortunately when I was running on the side of the road, there was like blocks of cement. So it's like an unfinished road, and
this is why I don't run in the winter either.
No, winter running stop is so nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. That's another podcast.
Just running in the winter in general.
But yeah, I ran and I wasn't paying attention to the ground and where I was stepping. And right when I stepped like one foot landed awkwardly on like a piece of like cement. And I think my toe was turned in it was so fast. I don't even remember exactly, but all I remember hearing is a pop. And
you never want to hear a pop. The only time you want to hear a pop is popcorn in the microwave. That's it. Yeah.
So after that like pop, I knew something was up, so I actually walked home. I walked to Starbucks, then I walked home.
You're like, I
wasn't feeling too good.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, my shin seized up. Everything was just a little bit of a mess, but I did initially think it was muscular. I wasn't sure, so I booked a physio appointment just to double check. But it turned out that it was the week after. And so I was getting treatment, RMT, releasing the muscles. Everything was decent, like managed and getting better. Mm-hmm. I did everything I thought I could have, but and then I still played beach volleyball. So I was playing, I know, not a good combo.
Not really.
So I was playing beach volleyball only like once a week, and I had gone and played around, and I think that threw me over the edge. Yeah. I think initially I tore my meniscus when I was running.
I was going to ask, what do you think exactly happened?
That's what I think happened. Yeah? I think I tore my meniscus, my medial meniscus. And then I played volleyball, and I think I partially tore my ACL and quad tendon there.
Well, you seem like you've healed pretty well, though.
Oh, gosh. I put so much work in.
Well, but I think that's what people don't understand. Is like when it comes to rehab, if you put like as much work in, you can really be as okay as you were before, if not better. But you have to be like, I'm sure you had to be patient.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah?
Definitely a real big challenge for the mind for sure. Because like, think about your lifestyle. You go, especially with your job, like how much your job requires your body as a trainer. And then going from 12-hour days of training, being on your feet to like not even being able to stand for an hour was like a huge hit. That was a huge hit. Nice body check. Yeah. Like I chose to take a couple weeks off because I just didn't feel like I had the capacity to like stand for long periods of time or walk. So yeah, I've come a long way. It's been 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say we're about like maybe 90% there.
90 is pretty good. That's a pass.
90 is sweet. But yeah, they gave me a timeline of like 8 to 12 months.
So you've been killing
like
it.
A year. Yeah, so far it's been good. Cross fingers, we keep it that way, but it's been.
I feel like they say that though, just in case.
Yeah.
Because everybody heals a little bit differently, and it depends on how diligent you are. And you can't really tell how diligent a person is like until they start rehabbing. So I hurt my hamstring. I've pulled my hamstring.
Oh no.
I know it. I've always wanted to go throughout my career. Yeah. Never pulling one thing.
Without an injury. I know.
But I pulled my hamstring doing deadlifts.
Yikes. Okay.
Yeah.
It happens.
Okay.
It's all right.
It's all right. And then I rehabbed it. Totally fine. Like, so my deadlift PR is not a lot. It's 500.
Okay.
And then I was working to 600. And then after that, I was like, okay, once I work to 600, I'm not going to go beyond that. I don't need to. I don't want to. So I was working towards that. And then I pulled it having nothing to do with that.
Of course. That's how it always happens.
Exactly, right?
Slip disc when you're brushing your teeth or coughing.
So I was doing, I was practicing martial arts and I did a spinning back kick.
Okay.
And I didn't fully pivot. And all I hear is like, you know what? Just exactly what I hear. I heard a pop.
Yeah.
And I was like, pop, I'm done.
I'm out.
And so I had to rehab that. And, but once I rehabbed it, like, I think right now, I haven't really tested what I can pull, but I think I can pull at least 405 easy for like at least 2 to 3.
Awesome. So
conventional deadlifts, is that something you're into?
Yes, but prior to your injury. Yes. Yeah. But now we're back to those single leg RDLs.
Oh my, now you're even more of that joke. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But no, there's the recovery journey is unlike anything I thought before. Like once you experience it firsthand and it really does, you have to keep you have to really check in with your mind. I think a lot of it's a mind battle. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that. And I remember from the get-go, some of my, coworkers, they told me, they're like, it's going to be more of a mind game than anything else. And they were 100% right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because it transcends, right? Like you were once able to do this and now you no longer. So something that I had to get used to was just better lingo. Like the way I spoke about it, just not being so disempowered all the time and just trying to be more diligent.
That's a huge thing. Because a lot of people, when they pull something, tear something, like they feel like it's done. It's over. Yeah. Right. And they're like, to be super dramatic, it's over.
Right.
Right.
Which is not the case. I thought that. I did.
Honestly, I thought that
professional,
too. I'm like, oh my God.
I can't see
do it. But you're like 100% right. It's all mentality. And it's all about the little like baby steps.
Yeah.
And you end up being okay.
Yeah. Like from the initial, I remember like being, like supine and just having to like lift my knee was like, it felt like I was carrying 100 pounds, like to go into like flexion or.
Well, I remember when you posted some videos on Instagram and like you just practicing walking a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy how like that is such a big deal.
Gait. Right. Literally just walking properly.
Yeah.
Without compensating.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of help. Like I went out to like even physiotherapists and they had helped me a lot in terms of just navigating my way through because it wasn't something that I ever experienced, especially with 3 ligaments. I'm like, damn, like it was a lot. But I will say like all those small efforts, like if I expected or had unrealistic expectations from the get-go, like to be good again, I would have never started that rehab journey. I would have never continued. I think I just, some people just wait for it to heal, but you can take action.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a big one.
that is a big one. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about is, I know you're similar also with me with, like rituals, morning rituals and daily rituals. What's yours?
It's always changing though. I feel like that's something to acknowledge because, sometimes the 5-minute journal works for people and sometimes it doesn't.
Do you journal right now?
I do. I can't say that I'm on a consistent basis. But I do have like every week I work through like mental toughness sessions. I do like journaling helps me a lot. I know for some people.
So with the mental, I'm just gonna add a little bit of ice. Yeah. So with the mental toughness.
Yeah.
What do you, if you don't mind, like sharing?
No,
what do you entail with that?
So one of my good friends is a life coach.
Cool.
And he
What's
develops
his or her name? Oh, him?
Brendan Fox.
Brendan Fox. Shout out to Brendan
Shout
Fox.
out to Brendan. He's been amazing. Such a great resource. But yeah, he has a lot of different tools to just get your mind sharp. And one of them is just, a lot of it has to do with just being aware, building awareness. So we've been meeting over a year now, like once a week, an hour of, deep diving into something that I want more clarity on or to be better in, and just understanding self better and how to just optimize my life. So that's one really big, crucial piece in my life right now, is having that accountability and just being more aware of where my energy goes and what I'm focusing on and how true that is to what I want to do in the future.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's awesome.
How'd you come in contact with this guy?
I took all of his courses, and it was actually through fitness.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I refer to Brendan as like a genius. Like, he's such a well-rounded person. And he got into life coaching, and I thought it was a really good opportunity for me to grow like from the inside out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you've seen like leaps and bounds when you've taken that course?
Oh, yeah. Well, we do one-on-one sessions over Zoom. But I can definitely say, like, even just reflecting back to last year, I am nowhere near where I like first started, even in terms of like reactivity, awareness, and just like connecting with others. Like, I feel like I know my strengths better and how to go around different life obstacles.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I said, I've had the pleasure of knowing you for a long time, and
blushing.
Oh my
Purple,
gosh,
though.
Purple, yeah, the potion. But it's been really, really rewarding seeing you be so open to learning and options and stuff like that, and you being so eager, right?
Thank you.
So one of the biggest things that I find a little bit annoying about the fitness industry when it comes to trainers is that when they get a certain certificate or a degree, they stop learning. And as you know, the fitness industry constantly changes, and maybe it doesn't change for the better, but at least if you can I personally think if you can grab one thing out of that,
yes,
it's something you can learn, right? Or something you can learn and be like, I don't think I'm gonna like apply this to my clients and stuff like that. And it's been really rewarding to see meeting you, doing this, and like I feel like you've taken the very smart step of taking baby steps, and like seeing how you are now is I don't know, it's kind of a blessing.
Aww,
it's kind of nice. It's
so
sweet.
Nice.
I feel really great being friends with you and stuff like that when that comes to stuff, because I don't know, I feel like I can learn so much from you.
Same goes.
That's not bad.
Yeah, for sure.
So also with the mental toughness, toughness, what else do you do for the morning rituals?
Just
rituals
in general. Yeah. Journaling has been so big. I know throughout like the different life changes I've had in the year, journaling was just a way of kind of like running, like cleansing the mind and putting it on paper. Some people may resonate with that, some people don't. But I just find that whenever I put my thoughts on paper, it kind of feels like the weight's lifted. So journaling for me is huge. I don't always have the same prompts. I know some people follow like the 5-minute journal, for example. I keep seeing that one.
I don't know the 5-minute journal. So explain to the people.
It's basically guided journaling. So every morning you can write, let's say, I think it guides you to do like 3 things you're grateful for, your intention for the day, and things like that, just to organize your brain. For me, I use journaling more as like a nightly reflection tool, or if there's something that let's say I can't see clearly, I'll usually journal, and I find my answers or that clarity through writing. So for me, it works a lot. Music is another tool I use.
How so?
Well, in terms of, like you said, we all like in the car, that's our alone time.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes to reset or recalibrate, I'll utilize like a different playlist or genre of music to kind of like reset, rejig, because our job requires like a lot of, engagement and just a lot of energy and just constantly interacting with people. And I always want to kind of make it that positive experience, and I want to be all present. So sometimes music is that reset button for me if I ever feel like I'm not myself.
So I'm going to ask you, what music do you listen to then?
Oh, it always changes. But if I ever need to like lift my spirits, I feel like Spanish music just makes me feel like I'm on vacation.
Cheers to that.
It's vacation.
What are you listening to right now?
Oh no, all over. Like I don't have like one artist. I don't have one
Spanish
artist.
music is nice.
Yeah, Spanish
nice
music, like anything. Exactly.
That's okay. Okay, so you do that. Anything else? So do you incorporate a little bit of reading, or because I know you like books too.
I do.
So what are you reading right now?
Well, right now I just finished a course, and
that's a lot of reading.
A lot of reading.
What course are you finishing?
This was the pre and postpartum exercise.
I saw that.
Yeah. Super amazing. Cool. Really interesting stuff. Like, I mean, there's so much to. Everyone knows, but I think the depth of what happens in pregnancy and post-pregnancy, you don't hear of often. And there was a lot of reading material, lots of articles, research papers. So that was the extent of reading that I've had over the last month. So I just finished up that course. But yeah, reading is really solid. But I would say my top two are definitely, I would say journaling. Even meditating is a really solid.
How do you meditate? How do you meditate?
Guided.
Because there's different guided?
Yeah, usually guided.
Yeah?
Yeah, usually guided. There's a couple of apps I've tried. I know people recommend Calm or Headspace.
I heard Headspace is really good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah?
It just depends what you want to get out of it, right? Like everyone has their different preferences.
Yeah.
I think meditating is a really solid way for you to like kind of detach from everything, like your circumstance, and just really connect to yourself. Yeah.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I like that. So if you could recommend like 3 books to somebody.
3 books.
That has to do with like, not even about nutrition or training, just about life that you could point out, what would it be?
Well, I really enjoyed for me, it's more of the mentality stuff.
I agree.
Yeah. So Tony Robbins was a really big one for me. Yeah. I personally, I don't always do well with books. So there's a lot of YouTube content of him deep diving into that. Yeah.
I actually find him better now than he was a long time ago.
Okay. Fair.
Personally, I think he has a different perspective on things that's a little bit more transformative.
Okay.
But
there's different content. I feel like he has a lot more content now.
He has content every 6 months.
Every
year. I can't keep up, man.
Yeah.
I can't, take it easy.
I saw him in person. It was actually pretty cool.
No way,
pretty
really?
Good experience. Yeah.
He's a tall guy, no?
Yeah. I mean, everyone's tall compared to me. 100%.
Everybody's it's oh, he's tall. It's
what's 5'7", tall?
But whatever. Okay, so
his
Tony
stuff
Robbins.
Is huge. I really enjoy for me, it's videos. So TED Talks and stuff like that. So that's a huge chunk of my time and courses. But book wise, I don't know why I can't think of any on the spot right now. I had one, it's by Edith Edgar and I can't remember.
What's up? Do you remember the name?
That was the author's name, but I can't remember the book title. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank here.
That's okay. What was it entail in the book?
It was basically all about mentality and perspective, just shifting perspective. And I think throughout the book, she did a really good job at being relatable while still painting perspective of other people's lives. I know in the book, she talks about a lot of painful experiences and the wisdom taken from it. So I loved it because it basically just talked about pain to power, moving from pain to power, and how pain can be your power. So I really love that book. That one, I can't remember what we're going to have to.
I really
it's
love
on
that
the tip
book,
of
but
my
I can't
tongue.
remember that.
I have it. It's in my drawer. It's a blue book. It's teal. It's, yeah.
That's all right.
Gifts. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to figure it out.
It's a good book. It's a good book.
So yeah.
That's all right. That's right.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you also, like I said before, I know you help your clients with mindset and stuff like that, right? So what do you do with your clients when it comes to mindset?
Well, usually I find people are more receptive to the whole fitness realm of things and nutrition, because I think when you naturally go into a gym setting, you're I'm going for gym and I'm going for fitness, I'm going for exercise, and I'm going for nutrition. But the two unaccounted for variables are I always find stress and sleep. So something that I usually do in my intake is I usually create a scale. So like a kind of a stress scale, 1 to 10, 10 being the most stress, 1 being like no stress at all. Where do you fall today? I usually like to do those kinds of check-ins with clients. Not everybody's the most comfortable, but I find the more that I ask, the more comfortable that they are in sharing kind of like where they're at on the scale. And I always like to account for sleep, because nobody starts with that. And I actually do think that's the first thing that everyone should start with, because that's how we recover.
100%. So I got a Whoop. I don't know if you
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. So cool. Yes.
So I got a Whoop.
That's right. You always post it.
Okay. And it is honestly like it has changed everything when it comes to training for me. Okay. Because the idea behind Whoop is the harder you recover, the better you can train.
Love it.
Right? And before...
Is that their like catchphrase?
No, but it should be.
That's a really sponsor me.
So, and it before I was like, okay, I feel crappy today.
Yeah.
This is the day I have to go 120%. Right? So I listen to Whoop now as much as possible. So you have being in the red, being in the yellow, which is red is horrible.
Right.
Yellow.
I've seen some of those reds. Yes.
Yeah, they're not good.
No.
And yellow is like perform. You're okay. And green is like do whatever you want. Right. And
the green light.
And it depends on your recovery.
Yeah.
Right. So like meditate, you can, and they have a huge selection of different kind of recovery. So what you do, let's say if I want to meditate, I switch it to meditation, and it monitors my heart rate.
Okay.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it monitors my heart rate while I'm thinking and stuff like that, and it factors that in to my heart rate variability. Okay. Which in turn helps me and adds into the algorithm of how I recover the next day. Right. Okay. And also how I sleep. So it goes when I wake up in the morning, I have to do a daily journal with the Whoop. So it goes.
Oh, that's great.
I know. It goes restful sleep. It goes deep sleep. How long I've been awake, which is kind of surprising because like when I look, it's like, oh, you've been awake. Like, because there's brief moments that we wake up at night and we don't even realize. Right. Right. And it says, oh, you woke up like for a total of 1 hour and 34 minutes. I'm like,
wow.
When? I wasn't there. That wasn't
Someone
me.
took my watch.
Oh my gosh. And then deep and REM. And I find that once I paid attention. So to go back to what you were saying. Yeah. Once I paid attention to my sleep a lot better, I found that my recovery was a lot better. And in turn, my training ritual was a lot better. So
makes sense.
My ritual when it comes to sleeping is so different now. Right. So I make sure that I'm properly hydrated.
Right.
Right. If I so Thursdays and Fridays, I have to wake up at 4 a.m.
Okay.
For work. So the night before, I make sure I take a little bit of melatonin.
Okay.
And then I take, if I really need to sleep, I'll take Phenibut, which is like, it's not a drug. It's like it's a herb. I just want
to confirm.
I just want to confirm that like really, really calms me down.
Yeah.
And I find that really increases my deep sleep, which is my body sleep, right? And I find that when I pay attention to really making sure my rituals before sleep, the day after, I'm a lot better. Like, for example, like blue light. So a lot of people don't know that like on their phone, they have a switch to switch off the blue light, and loads of difference. Yeah. So I can't do the blue light glasses.
My brother, I
can't do it.
My brother's keen on this stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's keen. He's like, what are you doing? Like your laptop, like you got to switch the brightness. Like, what are you doing? It's nighttime. It shouldn't be that bright. And he's, switching it for me. So.
No. Well, at least he cares.
Yeah, he cares. Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I pay attention to that.
Okay.
And then what else do I pay attention to?
Well, I like the Whoop because it's literally an accountability partner. It's like like you said, the green light. And I think that's so powerful for a lot of people. Not to say that you necessarily need that, but most people
I think some people do though.
Need the awareness, right? I mean, and it's a good partner.
100%. Like at the end of the day, what creates success is accountability. Whether it's with yourself or with a trainer or with anybody.
However you define that.
Accountability, like you can't beat that. Right? So
and that's the struggle, right?
It is. Like even like so the way that I like to journal is through military style, which is contribution, condition, calibration, and connection. So calibration is like what I want to get right with myself.
Okay.
So right now it's as much value and knowledge as possible. So I'm trying to listen to as many podcasts as possible.
Okay.
So usually in the car, I just listen to music, kind of like you. And so I'm trying to avoid that and only put that towards working out. Condition, right now, I'm trying to focus on tracking food, a little bit more veggies and stuff like that, a little bit more micronutrients.
Yeah.
Contribution is just trying to be contribute to like my clients and stuff like that and my family. And connection, I just use it to connect with a certain person, what if I want to work on them and stuff like that. So that's what I do. It's a little bit more complicated because the way that it works is I have to write out what I want to do in the morning and then finish it at night.
Yeah.
So going back to what we were saying about accountability. Yeah. I find some people who write it out at night or in the morning, they kind of tend to forget about it. I'm not saying you.
No.
But some people tend to forget about it after they feel good for like 2 hours.
Right.
And then they forget about it. But my accountability to write it in the morning and at night keeps me accountable personally to like keep the course.
Even through the mental toughness sessions, it was always about frequency too. Very similar to fitness training. It's kind of like you got to see that frequency twice a day. So I found something that was actually really effective was having it on your phone because most people don't go anywhere without their phone. So having those reminders, not that you have to track it on your phone, but it could be a tool for you to go back to.
So what would you suggest to do it on your phone then? Like what exactly?
I have an app. And it's called Perspective. So I usually will use it and it kind of prompts you to acknowledge maybe something that went on in the day, how you felt in the day, what your energy was like. I know that's a really big question I usually have is kind of like, how well did you connect to people? What was your energy like today? Because I take pride in that. Like that's a part of our profession, right? Big time. And I think that's what makes like that lasting change for people. But I usually will utilize that and my prompts are always different. So you have something really consistent. I've tried the consistent, but sometimes I don't know, like once you put me at like a pen and paper or like a notepad on my phone, I feel like I just sometimes have to just like kind of just let it go on the paper. I know if I'm ever facing an obstacle, there's 3 questions that we've always worked through. It's like, what's good about this? What can be learned? How can I make it better? Those are like 3 solid questions to kind of go from literally pain to power, like try to find solutions as opposed to being too stuck in your situation.
I like that.
Yeah, that was a really solid tool. I wanted to share that for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty good. So those are a couple of tools that you share with your clients then. Yeah.
Are they receptive? Not all of them.
I know.
But I know that at the very least, I'm at least bringing awareness to it. And when people are ready for that change or whatever it is, they'll take that step. For the most part.
That's true. It's crazy because like you can want something for a client so much.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, it's kind of like disheartening because like you realize like you're willing to put everything into this.
Right.
And there, whatever it may be, whether it's like past traumas or maybe current traumas.
Right.
They
life
have to
changes,
make that. Life changes.
Discomfort.
They have to make that step themselves.
Right.
And it's like at the same time, it's our job to make sure that like we figure out how to jump over that.
Right.
And figure out who they are
Cross
and how
those
they
barriers.
can like really become better.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people don't I don't think people appreciate what personal training can do for a person. Right. I've met a lot of people who's like, oh, so like you count reps. And I'm like, you're a little disrespectful, eh? I'm like, I do a little bit more than that. And I think that's why I've kind of associated myself I consider myself a personal coach.
Yeah.
Like
I always say personal health
life coach.
Yeah. Personal
opposed
health
to personal trainer. And there's nothing wrong with being a personal trainer. It's just what I focus on when I meet a person, I'm like, okay, what's your mindset? Yeah. Okay, what do you want to be? What's holding you back? Yeah. Let's figure out the mindset. Because if the mindset is right, then the body will flow. You know what I mean? And I feel like being able to do that for people is so rewarding.
Oh, it's so powerful.
Right? And I've had a client who she literally told me, she's like, I love coming here because when I'm at work, I'm that employee. When I'm at home, I'm a mom or a wife. Right. When I'm here, I'm me. And I'm like, oh,
that's a big one.
You're killing me right now. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're killing me.
Well,
but
it's
like,
you time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, I don't think people understand like it's a time where people literally come in and they express what's hurting them that day and what's making them happy.
Always say that.
We have to absorb this.
Yeah.
And if it's bad, we have to make sure that we give them some pointers, some positivity.
Right.
And if it's good, then we try to encourage it a little bit more. So I feel like when it comes to the fitness industry, true trainers, like they go through so much all the time.
But we have so much there's so much opportunity for us because we see, like I always say, we see people more than they see their own doctors,
100%, which is crazy, right?
Friends. So the opportunity window is big.
Yeah.
So I always like to keep like open conversation, and you know, I find like there's so much power in just having that hour to yourself and taking time to yourself to build yourself up and just having that self-belief and confidence again. I think it helps transform you big time.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to ask you too. So during COVID and all that stuff, how did you feel mentally?
Yeah.
And like, what did you do physically to move? Is that when you started running a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. For me, whenever things change, so for example, just not having, you know, let's say a gym space or whatever it was, I just decided to change my goal set. So I'm like, okay, what can I focus on that's going to enable me? And I knew running was one of those things because it offered me that peace of mind. And I think during COVID, a lot of people had way more reflection time, which initially is really uncomfortable. Like, I mean, if you're going from being a busybody to now like listening to your thoughts, it's quite uncomfortable, but definitely necessary. Yeah. So throughout COVID, I had a lot more time to reflect. This is where the mental toughness sessions really came into effect. And I'm so grateful that they did when they did, because I don't think I'd be as receptive being like a busybody all the time and just always rushing from place to place.
Well, I see your Instagram. You're a social person. Like the amount of restaurants and you try good food.
That's just
and
the
good
foodie in me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
okay.
I'm social
okay,
too. Yeah, I'm social too. But I like food a lot. People and food. So it goes well together. But yeah, no, like I felt like COVID initially was super uncomfortable. But then I chose to kind of have the mindset of like, okay, well, if I can't focus on personal training right now, what else can I focus on? And the first thing that came to my mind was like more of that reflection piece where how can I be better? If you don't assess where you're at, how do you know where you can improve?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
And you know, I'm guilty. Like I don't always take the time for it. So huge window, huge opportunity. That's when the mental toughness came in. And it definitely really helped me just kind of take a step back and dissociate myself from everything I was doing and kind of ask myself like why I was doing it. And like, do I want to continue doing that? As opposed to just trying to upkeep what my current lifestyle was. Because all of us got a chance to reset our calendar, right? Like, 100%. I mean, my calendar got wiped. And so I'm like, now what?
We're not doing any of that.
But yeah, capitalize on sleep was definitely a big one. And yeah, running was like my cake.
Nice.
It was my cake. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I got through a lot of those obstacles. And I think even just talking like more to people and like quality conversations. I don't know about you, but like with my friends, I didn't see them as much. With my family, I didn't see them as much. But when I had conversations with them, super meaningful ones.
Yeah, because you really want to understand like what's going on. And like, you want to enjoy the time that you have with
100%.
them. So
way more gratitude.
Yeah.
Towards like the little things.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
So and when it comes to like so when it comes to like supplementation, what do you take?
I don't.
You don't? Nothing.
No.
Everything's through food?
Everything's through food.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's just a personal preference.
That's okay.
Yeah. But I've experimented with quite a few.
Yeah.
I mean, the furthest I went was like BCAAs and whey protein. But
which are like super like
basic.
And
yeah, you can call me basic. It's all good.
I'm not gonna call you basic. I wanted to call this a potion. Okay, the only person who's be called basics is me. Okay, so don't worry.
It's all good.
What about vitamins?
No
vitamins, eh?
All clear.
Well,
yeah.
Good for you.
I get routine blood checks and so forth, but yeah,
I think that's really important that a
preference.
lot of people don't do is that routine blood
Check in.
work and stuff like that and checking in.
Check in
Yeah.
for
So
sure.
I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So I'm so meticulous with like, so it's
Tell us.
Yeah, tell us. So
Does it include Empress?
no, it doesn't, but it should. So for example, if I get a hint of me being sick, oh, that's it.
You're dosing.
I'm going to like shop. I don't have time to be sick. I'll take 2,000 grams of
Probably milligrams.
Milligrams.
Yeah,
milligrams, Sorry, not gram.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot. Of vitamin C every 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then I take zinc.
Awesome.
And then I take
I've taken zinc
echinacea, and I
before.
take that every like 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
If I'm feeling like a little like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I can't afford this. I gotta get better.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel better after like 2 days.
Awesome.
So that's the only thing. And then I take, one of my friends owns a supplement company, and he owns something called Self-Flow 6.
Okay.
So it helps with blood flow and with everything kind of working properly with your heart. And one of my things that I've kind of learned the older I get is the most important muscle I kind of want to strengthen is my heart. So the stronger my heart is, the longer I live, hopefully.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
So I want to make sure everything is flowing properly through that, for my liver, for my kidney and stuff like that. Yeah. And I feel like in vitamin D, I've definitely gotten a lot of. I've gotten a lot of that. I feel like during this whole like pandemic, a lot of people didn't really go outside as much as they should have because they were afraid to.
Yeah.
Which is, their prerogative, right?
Yeah, of course.
But we needed to get as much sun as possible through that time. You know what I mean? So
I definitely spent my fair share of time in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Running and stuff. Yeah, I got nice sunburn, even in the winter, like you have to wear sunscreen because you don't realize you come back and you're like, crap. Of course, there's still some
I don't
UVs
run
out
in
there.
the winter, so.
Yeah. We'll get back to that on another.
That's not for me. That's not for me.
I said the exact same thing.
Yeah, what changed your mind?
Just doing it.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so
it's
afraid
really
of slipping and
awesome.
tearing my ACL. That's it.
Okay, yes, for sure. But
Or like slipping
the
over a cinder
conditions
block
matter.
or something like
Yeah.
that.
But when it's like snowy and you're running through we always did forest trails and runs like that. So that was always really nice. We ran up at Seneca College. So it was beautiful.
Okay, so you have a good setting.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
You're a little blessed there. Okay. Not everybody has Seneca College.
Very. Yeah, everyone has to run. But no, that was nice. If it was plowed, of course. But yeah, there was a few times we ran and it was usually packed snow. Like maybe we just got lucky for the season, but there wasn't as much ice and I felt pretty confident running. You got to have the right like shoes and stuff too. But
that's fair.
Yeah, but we did it and it was awesome. And I think in the summer, like you generate so much heat, but in the winter you're generating heat, but you're remaining cool because outside is cold. So if you're dressing properly, like running outside in the winter actually just feels better.
Yeah. I could see that. I
don't know.
I did it last. I did do it last winter.
Yeah.
I was not fond of it, but I did do it.
I also liked it for the mentality side of things.
Okay, fair enough.
Because environment is a huge, or like weather is a 100%. Huge excuse.
Have you ever done an ice bath?
Okay. Yes.
And okay.
In Whistler.
What?
Scandinave, gorgeous.
Oh
the Nordic, they had the Nordic pools.
That's a little different though.
Yeah.
There's a difference between like that and dumping a whole bunch of ice.
There isn't. It was,
how long have you been in there for?
You were supposed to be in there for 15 seconds.
So the longest I've ice bath.
But I don't know if I did that
is long. 6 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's awful. Long.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. It sucked. I think I sat in, I was like, A, B, C, D.
Oh, Lord. For 6 minutes? I mean.
No, I replayed it. So.
Did you go Greek?
No, I couldn't do that. And
Italian.
So I did the ice bath. So when it comes to, I want to ask you also.
Yeah.
So for the next year.
Yeah.
What are the big goals you have?
Ooh, good one. I just finished off my reflection.
Perfect.
Yeah, I definitely want to.
What's big for Monica?
Yeah, what's big for me? I would say top two. For sure, I want to just understand more like rehab conditions. So how to assess for injury and prevention. I've always kind of been on the prevention side of things, but now I'm on the other side too, the rehab. And there's definitely purpose for both. But I definitely want to immerse myself more so in injury for sure. Mm-hmm. Because I saw the big opportunity for that support and that mental support and that physical support and just having a strategy. Mm-hmm. It really helped me pull through. So I want to help other people do that for sure. But the other piece to it is that resilience. So working through more of that like mental toughness, I want to eventually just kind of bridge the gap between like physical and mental wellness and just kind of bring it in together, because I think both of them go hand in hand. So getting more education in that and being more like being able to counsel and so forth, that would be, or educate.
Oh,
yeah.
That'd be amazing.
That'll be a down the road thing. But I've definitely looked into that a lot further.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And so what are like 3 people that you kind of look for a little bit of inspiration, motivation right now?
Definitely Brendan Fox.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mental toughness coach for sure. For inspiration, you said more so for inspiration, even just education wise, my physiotherapist. So Marvin Benny, he's awesome. Been a huge support for me in just understanding the underlying factors of injury and all that stuff. And the third person I would say is like my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to shout out to your best
Shout
friend?
out to my best bud, Izzy.
Shout out to Izzy. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. Well, yeah, I feel like it's going to be a good year for you.
How about you? I've got to pose it back.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh.
Next year. It's going to be a big year. So obviously, like I've been trying to get this gym open.
Yes.
Right. So that's a whole different podcast.
Of course. Yeah. We'll save that.
So we'll come back with a different gin.
Perfect. Is there a pink one?
No, we're gonna get aviation. Okay, Ryan Reynolds. All right.
Awesome.
So a lot of things happen with that. So this year or next year, I should say, I will want to open the gym.
Of course.
I want to expand this podcast a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that, and honestly, I just want to be just more proud of myself.
Okay.
And a lot of things, you know what I mean? And I think like, I don't know about you, but ever since I started journaling really finally, I've started understanding my capability and my potential, and me seeing that is super rewarding. And that's why I try to kind of
even the progress, is that what you're saying?
The progress, 100%, because and I try to show that to other people, because it's sometimes, again, a lot of people want to make like leaps and bounds when it comes to their life,
of course,
which is great. And whoever can do that, I congratulate
all the power to you. Yeah.
But for me, it's about baby steps,
right?
And me seeing that, and me seeing how much I've improved as a person, physically, mentally, emotionally, it excites me, because I truly think that I was put on this earth to be there for other people.
I love that.
And
to serve others.
Yeah, 100%. What would make me happy on my deathbed is me looking back thinking I've given more than I've taken. And if I can truly be honest with myself and think I've done that, then I can die peacefully. And that's my goal for the rest of my life, is to give more than to take.
Amazing.
First of all, you didn't even appreciate the kind of glasses I brought you. Okay. So by the way, shout out to Lucky Shot. All right. I don't have a discount code just yet, but I will.
Oh, God.
But these cups have an actual bullet in them.
I didn't notice.
You didn't even know. You've been drinking and enjoying the potion. So I just want to point that out.
Okay.
But one thing I honestly wanted to ask you about is, obviously we're going through second wave, third wave, whatever it may be.
How many are we at now?
I stopped counting after 2. But I think the most important thing is, what do you have to say to people who are still afraid to go to the gym? And what advice would you give them to stay motivated? And what advice would you give them to maybe even push to go to a gym?
It's a really solid question. A lot of different parts, but I would say the number one thing is, and I always promote this, even on my Instagram, it's always the same notion. It's like, whatever your version of movement is, just get it in. I think a really powerful tool to stay active, and whether that's walking for you, whether that's a stair climb in your house, maybe it's just being more attentive to how many steps you get in a day, or, you're walking your dog, but you're not just doing the bare minimum. You're taking it up a little notch, or you're running, or you're weight training, whatever it is. Just do it consistently. And I know that's a hard thing. So I found one of the greatest tools, even just given this group that I had, the running group that I had over Instagram, is just accountability partners. Whether it's your trainer, whether it's your friends, most people are on board with this stuff. Like everybody knows
true.
what they have to do. It's just about doing it. So I think if you can kind of get like a cheerleading squad, like get your family on board, if that's who you live with, that would be a really powerful tool for you to just start taking action, because a lot of people just don't want to let other people down.
Yeah, nobody wants
right?
to. Right?
So,
I mean, the right people don't want to let people down.
Right. So like, I think that's a really good driving force.
I like that.
To stay motivated.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well,
keep it simple.
Yeah. Keep it really simple.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be no like fancy kettlebell workout or whatever it is. If you don't have equipment, just find a way to stay active.
Just move.
For your mind and body, right? It's not just for physique.
Yeah. I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
For having me.
I actually really like the